Hello, everyone. It is Alex Beeden here, aka your favorite launch strategist, and I'm so excited because today we are having our Together We Launch alumni panel. Woo! This is the first of its kind. I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. I know that we have our alumni here who are ready to answer your questions. Just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, I am obviously in a different location. I have no electricity today at my house, so that's why you're now seeing me in a different spot. It's so wonderful to see all of your friendly faces. If you don't have your camera on, feel free to put it on if you want to be seen. I'm already seeing some of our alumni members here with their beautiful Post-it note walls in the background. So to give you guys a little bit of an introduction as to what to expect, today we have 3 fantastic Together We Launch members who are going to be here joining us live. We're going to give them each a little bit of time to introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump straight into questions. So if you have a question about Together We Launch that you have been wanting to ask, or if you just want to ask the alumni members anything about their experience with Together We Launch, then definitely feel free to pop your question into the chat box and we'll make sure to get to it. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add our 3 alumni as spotlight so that you can see all of them, hopefully, if you are in speaker mode. Awesome. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Alyssa, Clammy, and Sonia, I'm so excited to have you. I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves really quickly. Just let people know who you are, where in the world you're joining us from, and what your business is all about. Alyssa, would you mind going first?
I thought maybe because I had an A at the beginning, I'd be first. So hi, everyone. My name's Alyssa Lang. I own the company. It's called Workflow Queen. And our business is about, I want to say, 1 year and 5 months old. I am coming to you from Southern California. And what we do here is we help specifically bookkeepers and accountants from around the world to implement tech systems and automation into their practice so they can help to manage people like you and your businesses and to support you. So we make sure the efficiency's there so that way they can come to you with everything to support all the businesses. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you. Clammy, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Clammy. As you probably can hear, I'm from the Netherlands. It's very shitty weather here. I hope it's better there. So I have 2 businesses. I have the Zouk department, which I run for 8 years. We do destination weddings in Marrakesh, Morocco, which is amazing. But then due to Corona, all of that stopped. So I shifted my business to an online business, and I teach other entrepreneurs marketing and sales online. Last year, I joined Together We Launch. It was my first launch ever. I know that's not how usually Alex helps people who have launched before. I wasn't one of them. It was my first launch. It was amazing. I did a second launch with the exact same theory and it went even better. And now I'm joining for this round because I couldn't wait. So I'm joining again and I'm super happy. So yeah, thank you for being here. And yeah, that's me.
Yay. And Sonia, would you like to go next?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, girls. I feel so honored and so blessed to be here. My name is Sonia Rodriguez Tovar. I live in Mexico in a city named Tampico, and I am a professional network marketer. When I learned how to use social media to do my business, then I became a mentor, a social media mentor for women in network marketing. So what I do now is I help women in network marketing to increase their sales. I met Alex in an interview with one of my mentors, and I was so in love with the way she is and the way she teaches that I immediately became one of her fans. Then Together We Launch started. I applied immediately, but then I was rejected, girls. I was rejected, but then I tried again, and it was awesome because I'm telling more than you asked, right? And
Sure.
yeah, I doubled the results on my previous launch. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for those three incredible introductions. So I'm going to start off asking some questions, but I do want to remind everyone who's here that if you have a question, the alumni are really here to answer your questions. So don't hold back, ask your questions, just put the word question in front of it in all caps. So you guys all brought up some interesting stories. I would love to hear from Alyssa first, since we seem to be going in this order. I remember when you joined Together Relaunch, your business was, I think, 4 months old. You had just started your business, you had never launched before, but you knew that there was so much power behind the idea of having a launch and being able to get in front of the right people. So I'm curious, where were you before you joined Together Relaunch? What was your business like? And what has the transformation been since then?
So pretty much I owned my own bookkeeping and tax firm for almost 4.5 years before I started Workflow Queen. That's how this company stemmed, was from the struggles of what I experienced running my own firm with the efficiency and the operations and all that fun stuff behind the scenes. So Workflow was kind of born, and I kind of knew from the beginning the power of investing and to speed things up. And kind of when I had started and I created the program, I think I had like 2 people who bought for like 3 or 4 months. It was really bad. But I knew what I had was so viable and so needed for what was in this industry, with the lack of someone teaching the efficiency and the organizational side of things in this accounting industry. So I knew it was, unfortunately, like, I didn't know the tools. I came from such a service-based type of work to then come into learning how to send emails, how to show up on Instagram, how to do all these different things that I never experienced almost 4.5 years into my business. And so I knew that somehow I needed to get in front of the right people. I just didn't know how. So I had learned so many things over just the 4 months before I had found Together Relaunch or found you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I was like, I'm going to apply and I'm just going to show my high vibe spirit and just prove to her that I promise you, I'm super dedicated. I have something that's extremely viable, and I just trust me, it'll happen. And I'm really glad that you accepted.
I just want to like cut in there, because this is something that I've been telling everyone who is on the fence of whether they should apply or not, is that when I'm reading through the application, you do not have to be a perfect candidate in order for me to invite you. Really, what I'm looking for is the passion, yes. I am also looking for a viable business model. So I knew that you already had your course, you had already sold it, even if it wasn't a massive best-selling course at the time, but I knew that you had what it took. And I could tell in your application that you were just committed. You were like, I'm going to make this happen. So to me, I was like, okay, let's give her a shot. Let's see what happens. And so carry on. What made you decide, yes, I want to invest in Together Relaunch?
I think it was just like this long thought process around, is this really going to be the right fit? It was scary. It was the first biggest investment I had ever made in my company. Like even my previous one, I never really made certain like moves like this, but I knew if I wanted to fast track it, it could take me 3 years to figure all this out by trial and error, or just fast track it based off of what I want my students to do. Is why try to reinvent the wheel when I can give you exactly what you need without having to do it over and over again and have to cry yourself to sleep? Instead, it's packaged up perfectly within Together Relaunch, where it literally is a rinse and repeat method that has tremendously changed the way that my business runs. And I literally took a leap of faith and just trusted in Alex, and I trusted the process, but I showed up every day. I showed up and did everything that was said to do. And I didn't stop. And someone asked the question if I was solo. I was solo at the time. I did have a social media manager. Yes. And it was a big struggle being solo doing that. We had brought on when it didn't work out. But in the midst of it, the team Beaton was so supportive over all aspects of it. But Alex made it so easy for me to not feel like I had to have this massive team to support it. It was so ready to go and just had to plug it in and do it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, actually, because in Ultimate Launch Bootcamp, we've been getting a lot of questions from people just being like, does it matter if I'm a solopreneur? Is this still applicable to me if I'm a solopreneur? And so just to like mirror that to everyone who's listening today, we've had solopreneurs join and find success, and we've had people with larger teams join and find success. Sonia or Claimy, do either of you guys have anything to add in terms of what it was that made you decide to join? Go ahead, Claimy.
I don't, but I do have something to add. Because of Together We Launch, I am now hiring 2 full-timers, and I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been at this spot if I didn't join Together We Launch last year. And Alex is not paying me to say this, but because I had 2 like incredibly successful launches, I was alone. I did the 2 companies on my own. Of course, I had some freelancers, etc. But for a fact, because I had 2 of amazing launches, that gave me the money to hire people, and that's what I'm currently doing. So that's what I wanted to add, because I know for sure that I wouldn't have been here if I didn't join last year. And I told you yesterday, because I decided to join again yesterday. And I told Alex, I said, like, it didn't only change my launches, but it changed my entire business, my money mindset, the way I look at things, the way I feel that I earn, I am worthy of the money that I earn right now, and all of that changed because of Together We Launch too. So it's so much more than just a launching program.
Yeah, what I want to say is that it was just something that I felt in my heart, that I needed this in order to go to the next level in my business. Right now, I have 2 full-time people that help me in my business and 3 VAs that are helping me. And it is super amazing, the process of the launch, when you have all this like system, all organized, all the things that Alex provides per week, all the detail, all the templates, all those things are amazing. And when you have a team that is helping you, then it is even more amazing.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go
I think
for
I
it.
do have to say that I really like, because there's a lot of different, when Sonia said something about templates, there's a lot of different programs out there that will just hand over their templates. But what is packaged inside of Together We Launch is not only like, hey, this is how you can get it in there, get it fast, get it done, like happening, but this is why we're doing it and how to do it, and also how to apply this in the future. So for me, I'm currently actually in a launch. Our cart has been open since Friday night. Using the same method that I used from Together We Launch, we've already hit 70K, and we had to turn off all Facebook ads because they were just not working. So we have not spent any amount of dollars, what am I saying here, on Facebook ads since Friday. And it's all from organic and from our list. And someone mentioned having a very small social media following. I'm sure Alex can pull up my application from last year. I had probably like 300 people who followed me on Instagram, like a very small email list. Like, I am still technically tiny, but I think it's just what I have is extremely viable. And also I just won't stop until I'm on the top.
I love that. Also, I don't know that the 3 of you know this, but all 3 of you have signed up again to rejoin Together We Launch this time around. I'm so happy to have the 3 of you join us again. Alyssa, I want to just piggyback off of what you just said. The fact that, and this is something that we harp on with Together We Launch, Together We Launch is a rinse and repeat method and strategy. It's something that you can learn and then run with it and do it again and again and again. I'd love to hear from the 3 of you guys. What has that experience been like since we finished the last round of Together We Launch? Have you launched since? And has the launch strategy continued to work for you?
So we've done, I want to say 4 launches total since our launch we ended in November, at the very beginning of November of last year. We've launched 4 times. Every single one of them has been 6-figure launches. We've even done our smallest program that's only $37. We did it for a 2-day sale. We hit 50K. Every single launch has been incredible. Our new goal is 200K this time around. Crossing my fingers that it's going to happen. It literally is a rinse and repeat method. And the best part is every time we just build new things. This time around, we're doing three webinars. When the first time I didn't have capacity to do it with, now I do have a team of 2 full-time team members that work for me and other contractors as well. But it really is just a rinse and repeat, and how easy it is for me to just kind of hand everything off. And now we're just adding the additional things to make things happen and make it easier for every time we do it.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off of that before I let Clammy and Sonia jump in. Something that we harp on in Together We Launch is, yes, the strategy is rinse and repeatable, but also we want to encourage you to choose where you are at in terms of the level of your business. So for example, Alyssa just said, a part of our launch strategy is that you do a webinar, but the first time around that she did it, it just wasn't in the cards for her. So she didn't do it the first time around, but she's then able to add it in the next time. Every time you launch, you get better and better and better. So I'm really happy that you shared that, because you're such a perfect example.
Yeah.
Sonia or Clammy?
Yeah, I can say something about it. So after the launch we did last time around, I did one other launch. I just said it in the chat too. I hit 80K in the pre-sale, and then my wedding season started again, so I didn't do the normal sale because I was already so happy with the pre-sale. It was fine. And what I did to do the pre-sale and the whole so I did after the pre-sale I did the whole challenge, and then after the challenge I was like, no, I'm back in Morocco after 1.5 years. I'm happy. I'm shutting down online, and this is it. So then people, if they wanted to join, they should have joined in the pre-sale. That's not how I would do it next time, but again, rinse and repeat. But what I did before the pre-sale, so my first launch I hit, I don't even recall, I think around 35K. It was, and it was, I saw that in the chat too. I had 0 following because it was a new business. Of course, I already had another business, but I had 0 following. And I still hit 35K. It was my first launch, first business, online business. Then I did the launch again, and I literally rewatched all the videos. So I went through it week by week because I missed Together We Launch so much during launching. And as Alex said, like every launch you add a new layer to it, and you do something new, something different to see how it goes. So I just wanted to go through the whole process again because I knew how valuable it was, and that's why I decided to join again now, because now I feel like if I'm able to hit 80K in a second launch during the pre-sale, then if I do the whole program again and launch again, then I'm hoping to hit the 200K too, same as Alyssa. So let's go for that together and hopefully more of you. But yeah, 35K, no following, no ads, first launch. So, and again, that wouldn't have been possible without Together We Launch, because going back to your first question, Alex, where were you before and where are you now? I was a person who had an idea and just put it online, and hopefully, you know, people will buy it and people will trust me enough to buy it. That's not really the way to do so. So I really learned how to, like, a launch is not something that you do in 2 weeks. There's a whole process that leads up to it. Sorry for my English, by the way, I'm Dutch, forgive me. And Alex taught me that and the results are amazing. As in, it was my first launch, 0 following, I made 35K. So the money you pay for Together We Launch, yes, it is an investment. It was a big investment for me then, it still is now, but you'll make it back so quickly. So it's, for me, it was a no-brainer to join again. So yeah.
I want to just say something before I give you a chance, Sonia. 2 things. Firstly, the way that we've set up the launch is so that we have the pre-sale, which is a part of the entire launch strategy. And the beautiful thing about the pre-sale is that it gives you the opportunity to make a ton of money before you even go into your actual launch. Okay, so we've had people make back their entire investment within the first 5 minutes of opening their cart for the pre-sale before they even launch. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. And then another thing that Clammy said that is very important for you guys to understand is that when you join Together We Launch, you will get lifetime access to this version of Together We Launch. So actually, Alyssa, Clammy, and Sonia, the last time that we did it, remember we told you we wanted you to download everything and have it on your own file. This time we decided we just want to make it super easy for everyone. We're going to give you continued access to this year's version of Together We Launch. Yay! That means that it's easy for you to log in, check all of the videos, the worksheets, whatever. You'll have access to everything. The only difference is that, let's say next year's version of Together We Launch, you won't get the updated version. So you will have to join again to get that, but you will have access to this year's version forever. So I wanted to make that clear for everyone listening. And I'm so happy, Clammy, that you were able to go back and reuse the videos and reuse the information to launch again and have an $80,000 pre-sale. That's amazing. So congratulations for that. Sonia, what do you
And by the
have
way, sorry to interrupt you, but it's
Yeah.
80,000 euros, so it's even more dollars.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I joined yesterday and I didn't know about all these new things. Alex, I just trusted because it was a lot of value last time and I didn't save anything. So I was like, when is Alex Viron launching again? Together We Launch, because I really need that in my life. Well, when I joined Together We Launch, my goal was not 100K. My mind was like, no, I don't think that's possible for me. That's for other people. And now, Alex, I feel the pressure. I feel nervous with two girls, with the goal of them to 100K. I am like, oh my gosh, I love this group already. I joined and I did the double of my last launch. My first, well, I've done like 6 launches, but the one before Together We Launch was 30K, and then 60,000. And then in January, I hit the 105 more or less. So wow, so I was so happy for that. Using exactly the same strategies, the pre-launch. During the pre-launch, I didn't spend any money on ads, all the sale organic. And then, yes, I did like 7,000 in ads. And now I am launching again. And I did the pre-sale, no ads. Now I invested like 4,000 in ads. And I'm in the process. My goal is again 100K. So wish me luck. I'm already 40,000.
Amazing. Congratulations.
I have something to say off what Sonia had just mentioned about the money mindset situation. So I felt the same way. And then one of the reasons why I think I was extremely drawn to Alex Speeden before even Together We Launch kind of came out, when I stumbled across her and used to go on all your IGTVs and make comments all the time. I feel like the reason I was so drawn to her is she wasn't scared to say that you're a badass individual. You deserve to make money. You deserve what you do for yourself. Like, I still have a letter that Alex sent to me via an email when I had a really bad day after my private pre-sale, my first private pre-sale ever. I think it was 300K, like something around there. And I cried because I legit was like, how can I deserve this kind of money? Like, I've never seen that amount of money in literally less than 48 hours. And I felt bad. I felt guilty. I felt wrong. And so you also are surrounded by these other women and these other people who know what you're going through and have been through that. And Alex has been through it as well. And her team sees it, and Sonia and everybody who's in the program, they know they're all at different stages of, it's going to be okay. Like, you deserve this. And now I'm like, hell yeah, I deserve it. I just bought my dream car. That thing was $71,000 and it is sitting right outside of my house. And now I finally know that I deserve it. But it took convincing from, I think you provided a podcast around money mindset and I listened to it. And just looking at the letter every day reminds me that I deserve it. And it's scary to have that kind of money, but once you get it and you do something good with it, it just comes back tenfold. But being surrounded by people who understand that makes you feel comfortable and not sleazy. I just had to jump on the back of that one there.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that, because I was going to jump off the back of that too and just say, you know, we always talk about Together We Launch and the value that comes from the strategy and like learning and all of the things that you get from it that you're able to put to use. Okay, then you have the weekly calls, which with Laura and I guiding you through what you need to be focusing on that week. But what's so magic about that community element, which is that third piece, is just being around people, like exactly what Sonia just said, like being around Alyssa and Clayme, who both want to have a $200,000 launch. That does something to you internally. Seeing someone else who is a human being, and like Alyssa is no better than Sonia, is no better than Clayme, like we're all human beings. if she can do it, I can do it. If she's comfortable with that goal, then I should be comfortable with that goal. And it's just this like up leveling that you just commit to internally when you put yourself inside of that community, surrounded by other online business owners. It just does something to you that's so special and really helps tap into whatever's possible for you on that next level or layer. Does anyone have anything to add to that before we move on? I'm seeing some questions in the chat box that I want to get to. Okay, so Jessica has a question. She said, what is the price of each of your products and how many people have joined at each launch? Alyssa, you want to start?
I was like, is it me first now again?
I was waiting for you, Alyssa.
So when I actually signed up for Together We Launch, I believe the program that I'm actually currently launching right now is the one that we've rinsed and repeated all year. Originally, it was $395. Pretty sure Alex was like, you need to raise that price. I was like, but no, I can't, I just can't. She's like, but do it. And then I did it. And we raised it to was it $495 or $595? It was something around there, but I underpriced my program like crazy. And so one, I got that feedback where I needed to increase the price. So if it wasn't for that, my launch wouldn't have been as amazing. So we increased it to $595 with a payment plan, which we extended to 4 months versus 3 the first time around. And then we since then have just continued to increase the price on top of adding more value. And then we just revamped it. And now our program is $995. And that's the program that we're currently launching with a $200 off. So it's $795. So that's where we're at right now with the 70K. So our goal is 252 students to hit 200K is currently where we're at and where we started with the same program.
For me, my product, well, I changed my offer during Together We Launch, I think on week 4 or something, because I was creating I was hosting next to organizing weddings. I did business retreats, but because of COVID, there was no use in creating a course to organize business retreats. So I decided in week 4 or something to do the first full weeks all over again and do it for something new. The price point was, I believe, around 3,000. I increased it now to 4,000. And I forgot that I did another launch for a membership that is 37 euros a month. So basically I did the exact same strategy for a 37 euros a month to a 4,000 euros program, the exact same strategy. So it applied to both. So.
Well, in my case, I have a membership site. When I met Alex, this membership site was 37 monthly and 370 annual. Right now, in this launch, 59 monthly, 597 annual. And I have already like 40 annual. I don't have the exact numbers, and all the rest, which are 91, are memberships annual, monthly membership. But then I'm also offering like a mastermind, and people are filling the request, and that will start also by the end of this week, which is my plan to get to the 100K.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Galen asked a really good question. She said, how do you sell to that many people with such a small audience? And this is actually a question that I've been getting asked a lot over the past few days from people who maybe don't have a huge audience. They're just getting started and they're like, I've sold my offer and it works and I know it can get results, but I don't have a huge audience. Within Together We Launch, we do help you focus on lead generation, and the strategy is set up to help you get eyeballs on your product. But I'd love to hear from the three of you to basically just to answer that question, how did Together We Launch help you sell to that many people when you have such a small audience?
So for myself, I have still technically considered a small audience. If you look at my email list and also the number of just people who kind of come into my world. But I think the reason why I had a little bit more of an advantage is because of I niched and almost double niched. So what that means is, one, I only serve bookkeepers and accountants who only like work for their own firm, not someone who works for someone else's company. And I teach on a specific software, which is Asana, specific to the industry. So I have like all these different layers. So I think I became an authority very fast once I started to get in front of as many people. I connected with people in my industry. There's a lot of Facebook groups geared towards people who own their own firm. I was featured on doing accounting lessons inside of a really large program. And I never wanted to teach, but I knew that that would be a really good leverage point. And since doing that, it really helped me to really amplify my launch. So I think that, like, going back to what Alex said, inside of Together We Launch, she does have some strategies that I actually took what she said and actually applied a lot of those strategies and did everything I could to strategically plan what was happening. So for this specific launch, I just spoke at a bookkeepers only event in Las Vegas. And I knew that when I came back, this is supposed to be a 3-month process, but I came back to my team and I was like, surprise, we're going to launch in 2 weeks. They were like, what are you doing to us? I'm like, it's rinse and repeat, guys. We can do this. But I wanted to leverage off of the exposure I got. So I think that when you're exposed, you need to take advantage of that, because people are on like this high of understanding who you are and just leveraging off of it. And it really can help you catapult the way that your success comes from your launches.
Thank you. Clammy, do you have anything to add to that? Because especially for you, you were in a unique position because of COVID, you literally had to start a new business. So talk to us, tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I still don't know how I did it. I just think your theory works. I just applied everything you taught me and it worked. So but I do think that because it's, as I said, like previously, I would just throw something in the world and hope that people will buy it. And because of Together We Launch, you're so in the process, I'm busy with generating leads. And also because it was my first time around having an online business, like you really helped me saw opportunities to do so. As in, I think that my thoughts of that were very limited, as in, okay, I have these many people on my email list, these many Instagram followers, that's where I have to get all my sales from, which it wasn't. So I think that really helped. I also think it helped because the whole process you go through and then the weeks leading up to the open card, to show myself as an expert, to share my knowledge much more than I would usually do, because now I was so aware of, okay, I have to gain that expert status. I have to show people that I know a lot of stuff that they can pay me for to, learn them even more, teach them even more, sorry. So I think my focus was just very different in the weeks leading up, as in I didn't had any weeks usually leading up to an open card, but now I did. And I think that helped for one, getting more leads, and second, having a higher conversion rate. And also what I really noticed is that even in the challenges, the way you taught us to do so, like my Instagram followers go up, that means my leads go up, that means my email list goes up. And also, like, because I have 4 launches a year, that's it. And in the weeks towards it, I'm just adding leads and, sharing value, doing a podcast, etc., which really helped me gain leads to another launch and then increase the numbers again. So, and that all of that was taught by you. So
amazing. Thank you for sharing. Sonia, go ahead.
Yes, I think that what really helped me with my launches was this strategy that Alex taught us about the free lead magnet. The thing that I do every time, this rinse and repeat method is amazing, because before Together We Launch, I was thinking, what is my challenge going to be about? And I was always changing and thinking, oh no, I will do another thing. And then working a lot. And then I said, okay, so this is a rinse and repeat method. So I am going to be an expert teaching these women which are very afraid to do a video. I will teach them to do a video. And so my 5-day video challenge is like very famous. Well, that's what I think. I do a lot of organic stuff. And just before I launch this, I do a lot of organic things in social media, teaching about video, like very strategic in my communication with my leads in social media. That's something that I learned from Alex. So most of the people that are here in this wall our clients from this free challenge, which is something that Alex taught us.
Amazing. Yeah, I think something that Together We Launch, the environment of Together We Launch forces you to be decisive and to be like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take action. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to trust in the process. And it stops you from that second guessing yourself nonstop. And then there was something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, you said that your challenge is now famous amongst your ideal clients. And that's such a powerful thing, guys, because, and this is why the rinse and repeat method works so well. When you have that challenge or whatever your lead magnet is for your launch, people start to do it time and time again, and they start to see the results from other people who have done it. Once you start collecting testimonials, you can do it again and again and again, and it only builds on itself. So I know a lot of people were worried, how can you take the same challenge and do it again and still have people interested? It's because it becomes famous. It's like people want to do this one challenge. Okay, another question that someone asked in the comment section was, how much time did you spend every week applying the lessons from Together We Launch? And this is a great question. Normally my answer is you want to have 3 hours a week that you can devote directly to being in the group, to going through the videos, being there live with us in the live call. But after that, it's up to you to basically put as much into it as you possibly can in order to get the results. But I'd love to hear from each of you, what was the time commitment like for you?
So for myself, I think this is right when I was filming. I did 30 days of filming for that program I was talking about earlier. And I remember not being able to dedicate as much time as I wanted to. I did a lot more weekend work because at that time I didn't have a team member, or I technically did, but it didn't really work out very well. And during that time I had to do weekends, but only because of the workload that was happening behind the scenes. But once I was done with all the filming and started to get into it, because I had never launched before, I didn't even really have a robust sequence, like even just the skeleton in my program. Like I had to build everything from kind of scratch. And so I probably would say like 3 to 4 hours, but that's coming from like the beginning stage. Now it takes us like we time track everything. And I'm pretty positive it's like 2 hours, like max. If we were to talk about if it was Together We Launch, it would not even be that much, because we've done it before. But the first time around was like 3 to 4 hours a week, probably. Yeah.
For me, sorry.
I should have been like, hey, your turn.
Yeah, no, I was like, okay, I'm next. I think for me it was around the same. So it started around 3 to 4 hours a week. It's a bit quicker now. Also, it depended a bit on the week. For example, a challenge week is of course much more time consuming. So it was a bit up and down. Some weeks were a bit more intense than other weeks. But in general, I would say 3 to 4 hours too. Yeah.
And Sonia.
Well, but then it is not many hours when you are launching, when you have the system all in place. For example, I went this weekend on vacation, and I was also during the launch, and it's amazing. So no, for me it was not 2-3 hours. It was like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 hours, but because I needed to listen again and again and again because of the English, and then I was taking my notes, and I said, oh, I didn't hear that when Alex was live, so I had to take notes. But even way, I enjoyed a lot. So it was not a program like those that you buy and that you keep and never study. No, this is the kind of program, of mastermind, that you have to be in the zone. You have to do all the things. And it is like it was like I was expecting, I think it was Mondays, or I don't remember, but I was expecting like the day, because it was like very fun for me to learn, because it was always something new to learn.
Good, I'm so glad. And actually, you mentioned something interesting about the language element. Because you and Clayme are both in different countries and you're not in English speaking countries, I've had a lot of people ask me, I'm not from an English speaking country. Is this strategy still going to work for me? So I'd love to hear both you and Clayme talk to me a little bit about, did it work for you in your country? Do you feel like you were held back because of the language at all? Clayme, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I think even more, because no one here, I live in a very tiny country. The Netherlands is like so small. No one here launches really in that way. Like everyone is a bit like I was. So to be able to use your method and do it here, like everyone's sending me texts like, oh my God, your launches are so amazing. And I always tell them, well, it's not my theory, it's Alex's. So if you wanted to follow her course or her program. So yeah, even more, I think, because I can understand why people ask that, because I think that was something that was on my mind too before I joined. Like, especially I am from a country where people don't really spend money easily, etc., etc. That's how, doing Dutch, that's a quote for a reason. So, but yes, because of the theory and because of the way that we launched and building up to it and having like 4 months dedication to it, really helped, and also really helped me, in comparison to my competitors, and the way I launch and the way I put myself out there as an expert and leading up to it, doing the challenges, etc. I even had someone who copied my entire challenges, all the emails, everything. So people here love it. Yes.
That's how you know you made it.
That's how I knew Alex's theory worked. So I was like, yeah, I might as well do it again.
Yeah, it's been super amazing, even when the language is so different. People love, I think people love like the fresh in the launching, like this thing that Alex is always telling us to do. The most important part during your launch is your energy, is how you show up, is how you speak. So every time I do a story, I remember Alex, hey, your energy, do this, do that. And that's super different in the way other people in my country or even in other countries are launching. So nothing to be worried about. You will practice your English as well.
Perfect. So I have a question from Tony. I'm not sure if this applies to any of you. Did any of you have a day job while you were launching? No, right? No. Okay, so we can't answer this question. I would say that if you have a day job and you are considering joining Together We Launch, you're probably a little bit too early in the process. So I would say go through Ultimate Launch Bootcamp, because that's going to be available for you until Friday, and that will really help you have like the bare essentials of what you need to figure out to actually get the ball rolling. Okay, the next question is, what was one of the elements of Together We Launch that surprised you the most? So for example, I know that we had the bonus calls with Laura, there's the community element. I'd just love to know, like, besides the actual strategy itself, like what did you guys love the most and what surprised you the most about Together We Launch?
Laura. Laura's literally my favorite. No offense, Alex, I absolutely love you, but the operational, systematized human being and soul inside of me just wants to just be around Laura every 5 seconds. Because I remember we'd get on the certain calls and I'd be like, I want to pick your brain. Like, and we would just talk about systems, and it was just, we were happy people. But the community, in all reality, it was like this, you're literally surrounded by, I felt like when I went into Together We Launch, I knew that I was like the little fish, and I knew it, but nobody treated me like I was not as good as everybody else. There were people in there who had done almost 7-figure launches, people who had launched so many different times, like, oh, this is easy. I'm over here like, I'm just struggling. I'm crying. Like, what is happening? Like, everybody was just so like, I launched with all these other 2 women. Like, it was so awesome to not only see each other on Instagram, but like be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Like, we would be cheering each other on, like reaching out to each other, the community aspect of things, because launching is normal. Even if you have a team, even your team doesn't understand what you're going through while you're showing up every day, while you have to be the one who's talking, while you're exhausted and need a massage every day of the week. And I think that that sense of community and understanding that there's other people in Together We Launch and also support from the actual team itself was probably the most and surprising piece to me, and probably one of my favorites, and one of the reasons why I wanted to join again. I mean, I'm sure we could rinse and repeat, but I know that there's going to be more system stuff, and that just excites me over here. I know Laura's nodding over there. I'm excited about the systems part. The whole team is. We're excited. So I think that that community aspect of things, and that it's not just something that Alex is like, oh, I'm just going to rinse and repeat Together We Launch. She literally took what she saw last time. I remember sending her messages being like, this is my feedback. This is what I think. And they are literally making improvements to make sure that this is something that can catapult your life and your business. And I think that that's the part that was so surprising to me.
Thank you, Alyssa. Clayme, do you want to go next? What surprised you the most about Together We Launch?
Well, my answer is the exact same as Alyssa, as in firstly Laura. And I know I told both you Alex and Laura this before, but usually when people join a course, they join because of Alex, which makes sense because Alex is amazing. I love her. She's such an inspiration. I'm gonna stop now, but no, but Alex is amazing, and I think everyone who's here knows that she has so much to teach, and that she brings so much value. However, you would not expect to have, and let's not forget Stacy, because Stacy is amazing too. Then Laura is there being her amazing self, and she has so much knowledge and sees things from a very different perspective than Alex, and they're not afraid to tell each other during calls too, which is nice because you see it from two different points of view, which is really nice. So that was a very unexpected, pleasant surprise. Also, the community, as Alyssa said, I felt like the little fish, as you probably call it too. But I never felt that way because the others saw me like that, but because it was my first time around, etc. But it was so nice, and also the group also gave me so much accountability because I have two businesses. I think all of us recognize that we're so busy, life gets in the way, you're tired. Even if you're not tired, you're hustling. Like maybe you have kids, maybe you don't, life is busy and you can easily skip things, forget things, don't do it. But because there was a weekly call and the accountability was there so much, I wanted to keep track of everything that was happening in the program because I didn't want to fall behind. So that really was something that, of course, you expect maybe a little bit from a group course, but it surprised me how accountable everyone was holding me. Sorry, I know that's not correct English, but you know what I mean.
No, we totally know what you mean. I brought Laura into our little panel here so that we can see her responses. Laura, your face is just so cute every time they mention you. I'm like, we gotta add Laura to this at least while they're mentioning you. Sonia, what would you have to say about what impressed you and surprised you the most about Together We Launch? I'm so sorry, I just muted you after you unmuted yourself. We're having like a mute war here. Go ahead.
So I'm not going to talk again about how amazing Laura and Stacy and you are, because that's so obvious. I would like to say about the group in general, because we are not just buying this organized system to launch. We are really joining a group of girls with 6 and 7 figures energy and mindset. And that is super rare and fantastic to be part of. So yeah, what it really impressed me was that I always looked at you like, oh, they are so perfect. The stories are so perfect. The social media, all the things they do are so perfect. And then learn from your energy, the energy of all the group, that we are all the same. And I loved also that you show us your face. You are so vulnerable, and that we all can do the same, just by being part of this is like, lend me a little bit of your energy. It's like how I felt. And that's why I'm so excited to be part again of this, because of the energy of all the girls in the group.
Can I say one more thing just to piggyback off that? So another thing that I really appreciated was, I feel like in your home life, like you sit in your four walls, and outside of it, people, friends and family might not understand the money that you bring in, and they could be like, oh my God, you made 100K, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting how much that really is valuable, but you get kind of not shamed. I'm not saying people throw rocks at me when I walk down the street, but I definitely feel like sometimes that I can't explain to people the joy and the energy that, oh, you just made that kind of money in 7 days. No. This took so much of my energy and so much of my brain power that it's overwhelming. And to be able to be in like almost like a virtual room full of other women who you could be like, hell yeah, I just made 112K. Like if I were to say that to my friends and family, they'd be like, you're buying dinner, right? And I'd be like, no, I got to pay for Facebook ads. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I think that ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, it's really hard to find a room full of women that you can say, oh my God, my email sequence just broke, and they're not going to judge you. Nobody front facing will ever know that, but they're there. A lot of us had things that were breaking, and it wasn't the program's fault. It was literally the fault of the program we chose. And so just having that to support, and then where there'd be people in the group who are like tech experts, they'd be like, do this, like, you know, this is how you'd fix that. And I think that that's something that's really big too, is being able to be surrounded by women who don't make you feel shitty about making goddamn good money, you know?
I love it. So I want to piggyback off of you and actually ask you guys, can you describe the experience? Last time that we did Together We Launched, it was a Facebook group. This next time, we're upping the ante, guys. We're moving into Slack. It's going to be amazing. We're very excited about it. But I want to hear from you guys. What was your experience like within that Facebook group? I know we've spoken a lot about, you know, it's great to be surrounded by that level of energy, etc. But did you feel like it was a safe place for you to go to when you had questions? What did you use the group for the most? I'd love to hear you guys talk to me about that. Whoever wants to go first. I know Alyssa just went. Alyssa, you can go again if you like.
I guess I'm an A, I'll go again. I liked it. I knew that there was nothing that I had to be worried about. And anytime that we shared, like, for example, when we opened Cart and I was sharing like the results and stuff, Alex would personally ask me, do you mind if I use this as a way to like help showcase for the people who need to make sure this is the right fit for them in the future? And I was like, absolutely, of course, any win that you ever see, just take it all, just run with it, you know? So I felt safe for sure, because I felt respected in the sense like that she wasn't just taking screenshots of my sensitive info, because there's sometimes it's scary for me, for my following to know the amount of money I make because I'm supporting this industry, but then yet I'm in this industry and they won't understand because they're service-based. So it scares me that they would see it, but I'm not scared to show it for the online course creating community. So I really love that she respected us in that manner, and also that everybody else did as well. And everybody was so, Sonia would always be like, oh my God, you're so awesome. And Clayme would always be like, oh my gosh, everything's going so good. Like gifts left and right, freaking confetti everywhere. It was great. Loved it.
Clayme, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think the value of the Facebook group was first to connect, of course, with all the other members, but also to have a place where you can ask your questions in between the calls. So, you know, sometimes you have a call and then the next day you're working on something and you have an urgent question. And I always thought, even with the time difference, because it's past dinner time here now, but I always got a reply, like not immediately, of course you can't expect that, but very often, like you were so quick to respond, Alex. And if you, I don't know, had a day off, because very often I was in the weekends sending stuff in the Facebook group, but there's always someone who replies very quickly, whether it's you, Alex, Laura, Stacy, or someone else, you know, another member of Together We Launch, which was very valuable, because then you always got a reply quite quickly, where you can, you know, if it was feedback, if it was cheering you on, whatever it was, I felt that the group was there for both. So as Alyssa said, like, yeah, cheering each other on and sharing your wins, etc. But also if something, you know, within the process you got stuck, or something didn't work, or you failed to send out an email, or your open card wasn't as open at the time you promised, or whatever it was, like the group and everyone was there. And I also felt that everyone came there for both reasons. So I think not only us were feeling that way, but everyone was feeling that way.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Sonia.
Yeah, the Facebook group was for me such a great way of communication and such a great way to learn what were all the other girls doing. And so I started to follow Alisa and following what is she doing? Yeah, she's doing all this confetti. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to model her. And also the reels that the other girls were doing. So I also was, what is the energy in their social media when you are launching? What are you doing to take ideas, that you can use also in your own launch? So all this was so amazing in the Facebook group, all the community. I felt so safe asking questions that I thought, this is something that I should have already know, but anyway, I'm going to ask. And there was always someone answering my questions. So yeah, I love the group.
I love what you brought up as well. And it's actually not something that we've touched on yet, is the power of like being able to see someone else in a different industry using the exact same strategy at the exact same time of the launch, and seeing how they're doing it with their audience, and like everyone being able to feed off of each other's ideas and seeing like, how are you doing it? And how are you doing it? I think that's such a brilliant part of Together We Launch as well. So I want to ask you guys a little bit of a weird question now, but I think that this may be where a lot of our viewers are currently thinking. They want to join Together We Launch, but they might have some hesitations. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what was your number one biggest hesitation about joining Together We Launch? And if you could speak to yourself in the past, or if you could give advice to someone who's having that similar concern, what would you tell that person now having gone through it? Alyssa?
Just do it. Like Nike said, just do it, guys. I'm dead serious. Like when I went through it, obviously sometimes investment when it comes to monetary can be really scary at times, especially if you've never really seen a direct return on investment on your program to like this max capacity, like some big numbers that sometimes we've been talking about here. I think that it's extremely scary. You might be doubting yourself, but it's really, you're never going to be like, you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And honestly, I wish that when I had gone, if I could go back in time, I mean, I did listen to my future self, I guess, because I was like, just do it. Like, you're not going to regret it. And I'm happy, but I didn't know. I've never done any of really Alex's programs, so I didn't know if it was going to work. But I reached out to Louise Henry, which was a previous Together We Launch member. And I asked her, I said, what? And she had nothing but amazing things to say. So she was my future self in that case. And she was like, just do it. You're not going to regret it. So I think if you're on the fence, sometimes things like this can be scary, but the amount of money that I put into it, I think when our doors opened for our private pre-sale, we made $12K in less than an hour. If you're on the fence, you can literally make your investment back the moment you open your doors with the strategy that she gives you within 1 hour. So I promise you, you might have to go like a 1 or 2 months of just the struggle is real, but sometimes it's going to be worth it in the long term. And the amount of money that if I would have never done this, our business is on track to hit 1 million. And if I would have never done this, we would not be where we're at today in just a matter of a year and 5 months. So if you're on the fence, do it. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you do the work, if you don't do the work, it's not going to work.
That's a really important piece of this puzzle. Thank you, Alyssa. Claimy, what do you have to say about that?
Well, to be honest, I joined Together We Launch on the day I discovered it last year. So because I was searching for an English speaking coach, I came across your Instagram account that evening. You were hosting a webinar. I joined the webinar, and I joined right after the webinar Together We Launch, because I was so convinced. And I never ever did an investment, that big of an investment in my business, but I just felt that, I don't know, I just felt like this is the moment, I need to do this is going to help me. So sometimes your intuition is all that you need to follow, because it was the best decision I made. Also, my bookkeeper, while we're talking about bookkeepers, my bookkeeper texted me today. He said, like, what's happening with your revenue? It's insane. Like, what are you doing? So, and again, that wouldn't have been possible without Together We Launched. But I think that if I would say that the biggest doubt, which I don't really think I had doubts, but the biggest one would be the investment. And also, but then as Alyssa said, like, you can make that back in an hour after your cards open, and I fully vow for that. And even now, my second launch, like, I made 80K in a pre-sale. So if you the percentage of your investment for Together We Launch is such a small percentage of that revenue for the pre-sale. So, and I know for a fact, honestly, if I can do it, like, not having an online business ever before, a small following, living in a small country, doing a course in Dutch, like, if I can do it, honestly, everyone can do it. Everyone who's here can do it. Everyone who watches your replay can do it. But you have to have the right strategy, and that's what Together We Launch provides. So I would say investment was the first thing. Second thing would have been, like, am I the right fit? Because it was my first time around, and also would have been, isn't this too time consuming? Is this really what I want to do? But even if it's not, like, the thing you're focusing on now is not what you want to do in the long run, even if I now would go back to sell my business retreats again, like, there are so many parts of the theory of Together We Launch that I can use. So it is a launching program, but you learn so much about marketing and psychology behind it and all of that, which is super valuable. So even if you're not sure if the program you currently have is what you want to do forever, then I think it's fine too.
Yay, thank you. Sonia, go ahead.
Well, that's a kind of difficult question for me to answer, because I didn't hesitate at all. Even when I didn't have the money, I applied. I applied, and I remember I wrote, I don't have the money, but I will find a way. I want to be in this program. So yeah, the investment, yeah, that could be one thing. And what I want just to tell you is this: what if you don't? What if you don't get the money back? What is, like, the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is that you have the system and that you repeat again the method. Because of course, maybe if you are just starting, maybe it's not going to be like Alisa, maybe not like any of us, but your own story, the abilities, the system, the way you are learning is so different from us. It's your own process, your own journey. But what I want to tell you is, when you invest in yourself, I don't know, it's like magic. And 1 year from now, I don't want to tell you that you will have your 100K, because maybe yes, maybe not. But what I will tell you is that 1 year from now, I don't know if I will say this correctly in English, but you will be a person with more, like, a strong mindset with better launches. But if you don't start like today, nothing will happen. So I hope
Amazing.
I explained.
Yeah, that was beautifully explained. And you're right. You don't need to, the measurement of success for Together We Launch is not just the one launch that you have with Together We Launch. Like, just because you don't have a 6-figure launch the first time doesn't mean that you're not going to have it the second time. Like, look at Clayme and look at Sonia. You know, they both didn't have a 6-figure launch their first time around, but they both found it incredibly valuable. They were able to take it, rinse and repeat it, have their 6-figure launch the second time around, or get close to it, have an $80,000 pre-sale, which is incredible. Or actually, I did the math, it's 80,000 euros, which is $95,000. So that's very close to a 6-figure launch. Laura's face, Laura's like, whoa. So amazing, ladies. Thank you so much. Jessica said, you mentioned you were changing it to Slack. Will we have access to that after the course ends in order to have access to everyone when we have questions? So with the community, you are paying for 6 months of access to the community. And once that's done, it's done. So for example, these ladies are no longer still in that Facebook group. So once the 6 months is up, you will no longer still have access to that Slack community. I hope that makes sense.
Sorry, can I
Okay.
add something to that? Because sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but you don't have the Facebook group, but you've been in touch for 6 months. So everyone's following everyone on Instagram, for example. So we're still cheering each other on and still following each other. And still, if you have questions, you can ask the previous members. So that aspect might be gone, but I don't think the community is, because that's something that you've been a part of for 6 months, and that's also your responsibility to continue, I think.
I was going to say the same. Yep. All of us still keep in contact. All of us still cheer each other on here and there. I think that just because that little asset's gone, I think that it still continues, especially this time it's 6 months. So it's going to be way more of like in-depth. Everybody gets me for 6 months here. Sorry, Alex. Another 6 months with me.
I'm so excited that the three of you have decided to rejoin Together We Launch. And I'd love to ask you guys, what was it that made you decide to sign up again? Because I think a lot of people would look at it and they'd say, you've learned the strategy, you already have had 6-figure launches. Like, what made you feel that you had to join again? What is the benefit to you of joining again?
Well, I already know you guys aren't going to stop at not making something bigger, better, faster, stronger. I already know that you guys are cooking up some, anytime someone says systems, I am there and all for it. So that part's exciting. And also this time around, I have full-time team members that will be supporting me. So it was important that they both did not come from marketing backgrounds. Neither did I. And so bringing them through this program is going to be an asset for my company at this point, because they're going to now learn the knowledge to therefore help me to bring a bigger ROI without me having to be there. I love taking vacations and petting my puppy. And so that's my number one goal in life, is just to do that. So as long as my team goes in, now I know that instead of me having to transfer the knowledge, I don't have to do that. I don't have to show up every single time. Instead, they learn, they apply, and I just show up when it comes to the challenge. And that's kind of why I went for the second round, and also to spend some time with Laura. Love you, Alex, but also Laura. Just nerd out over here over systems. And Alex, obviously, I think the energy too, as well. Like knowing that I'm going to be surrounded by, my life has up-leveled since joining Together We Launch. My whole life has literally changed just based off this one program. And I think ultimately one of the reasons I want to do it is because I am craving just badass human beings to be surrounded with and have the same mindset as me, who want to go the same place as me and actually want to accomplish some really amazing things and actually change the world. And that's kind of why I went back into Together We Launch.
Amazing. Thank you, Alyssa. Play me.
Well, various reasons, to be honest. Of course, the strategy is the same, but as Alyssa said, like, I know you'll add other things. Also, as I previously said in the comments, Alex, I think your creativity is just out of this world. And as I said, like the launch diaries and this panel and everything that you do, I don't know if they were your ideas or Laura's or anyone else's, but I love the ideas. So the fact to have that, and I know for sure that you will review this and will let us know in Together We Launch whether it was useful, yes or no, also with the launch diaries. And you just have so many creative ideas. So yes, the strategy might be the same, implemented better, blah blah blah, adding things to it, but on top of that, have your creativity that just is on another level than it was a year ago, I think, because it's we're a year in. So that also to have the new community and new group, but mainly I think because of the accountability. As I said, like I did rewatch all the live sessions and did all the worksheets again, but it's different because then you're doing it alone, and it was very successful as my results showed. But I know that for a fact that it will be even more successful if I join another round, and also, rinse and repeat. I know for a fact that I will add other things now that I can get your feedback on. So many reasons why I would join again. And yes, the strategy, even if it was like 100% the same and you didn't add new things, I think I would still join, because there are so many extra things that you will gain from it, which are so valuable. And again, like I know that I know that if I'm able to hit $95,000, let's talk in dollars, on my pre-sale last time, I know for a fact that I will hit the 200K if I do a full launch and actually do an open cart phase. So how much is the investment then comparing to that? So for me, again, no brainer. And I think the biggest compliment you can get, Alex, Laura, Stacy, the whole team, is that people join again. And I think that shows how much we love the program and how valuable it was to us. So the fact that we join again should be an answer to everyone's question, like, should I do this? I think the answer is yes.
Thank you, Clammy. And Sonia?
Well, because I love you. because I love you all. I love the energy. I love all the things that you are going to teach us, because I know that it's never the same. Even if it's the same masterclass, it is never going to be the same, because of not only your way of teaching, which I just realized is going to be like a little bit different, but also because my own level of, how do you say, my own conscious level, my level, the level that I am right now, I'm going to understand many other things, because the power of ideas, little nuggets. I know ideas are very powerful, and even if I only apply one little thing, one little tweak in my own system, that is going to be super helpful for my launch. So yeah, of course, I had to rejoin Together We Launch, even when I am in another 2 masterminds and many other courses. I know for sure that I'm going to be here every, I don't know, Monday or whatever the day is. And for 6 months, absolutely no brainer, girls.
Amazing. I love that you guys are using the word no brainer, because that's how I feel. Like, I was in the shower this morning and I was like, this offer is such a no brainer. Like, it's just such a no brainer. Okay, so I have one last question for you guys, and I'm actually piggybacking off of something that Alyssa said in her answer just now. She said, my entire life has completely up-leveled because of Together We Launch. And so I'd love to hear from each of you, how has your life changed? What's different about your current reality today because of Together We Launch versus before you decided to join?
So I'm going to warn you, I'm a crier. I definitely have cried when Laura did the testimonial video with me. I cried because I'm like, you don't understand how much in 1 year's time, this is literally, I had the story archive of when Alex was doing the dancing video with my sticky note when she accepted me. And it's crazy that 1 year ago, like, life was so different for me. I mean, like I just said, I literally last week bought my dream car that I have been wanting for so many years, like almost 12 years of my life. We are now trying to find a home down by the beach because we're in Southern California. I have realized that my circle in my life has gotten smaller, but also the community of what's happened around me. I have met my biz bestie online based off of what I do, because I started to surround myself with people who were wanting to do bigger and better things. And we've met up in real life. I have taken large opportunities that I was scared with the mindset part of things, scared that, oh, it's wrong for me to be making money. Oh my gosh, it's wrong that I'm making more money than my man. Like, I feel so crappy, but ultimately my life has been like, no, like, this is what's going to happen. I'm not letting anybody else hold me back. And I feel like Together We Launch was not just this thing about launching. It also is this mindset of you deserve so much more than you give yourself credit for. And so for me, all these little things that keep happening right now, like my next mission is to rent out long-term stay Airbnbs every single quarter for the first year, and then travel out of country with my puppy. Hopefully I have an Instagram called Harley and Me. Hopefully nobody took it. I should Google it. You know, like little things like that. So my life is literally, a year ago, I would have never thought. I did so much traveling this past year, and I'm about to go to Hawaii in 2 weeks. Like, it's just crazy to me that like this, what's come with it is so many opportunities and doors that I never thought would ever open for me. And so for me, it's literally changed my mindset, my livelihood. I have gained weight, unfortunately, because I've been sitting on my ass trying to do all the things, but we're fixing that, guys. We're fixing it. It's a good thing, ultimately, I'm thinking.
Thank you, Alyssa. Claimy, I'd love to hear from you next.
Sorry, I was just typing in the chat that Alyssa looks amazing. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, like it changed everything for me. My money mindset, but also practically, as in like it was the first big investment I did in my business, and it turned out so amazing. So now it's so easier for me to invest. Also, as I said, like I am hiring 2 full-timers now, which I would never been able to do if it wasn't for Together We Launch and having those successful launches. The biggest difference for me is in the revenue I make. And because of that, you know, that allows me to do so many things. My partner doesn't work right now due to health reasons. It's totally fine because I make enough. So there's no stress in that he has to get better soon or that he has to go to work or whatsoever, because I make enough to provide for the both of us. I'm hiring people. I have a 100 square meters office right now. I still have my second business, which is the retreat and wedding planning. But now I'm like, why do those like wedding couples pay me so less? As in, if I do an online course, I can make so much money, which allows me to only accept the weddings that I really want. And that's still something I always would want to continue to do because I love it so much. And I know that's where I'm good at and where I get a lot of energy from. But now I can only accept the weddings that give me that energy, the nicest clients that could literally be my friends that on the evening of the wedding drink a glass of wine with, instead of having to accept all the clients that I know that aren't the right fit, but that I need to accept because of the money. So it provides me to run my business much in a way that fits me much more, that makes me happier, that gives me much more money to build and expand, and also to like I've learned so much, and since then I invest so much more in myself, because Together We Launch showed me that even high investments like that, you know, they come back to you in such an amazing way. So I grow as a I grow as a person. Sorry, I was reading the chat. I grow as a person. I grew as a person, and also I believe like the best money you can spend is on yourself. So yes, my revenue is higher. Yes, I make different decisions. Yes, I'm growing my team, but the most important thing is that I grew as a person so much, and I learned and I experienced and I took risks, and they turn out great, but sometimes they don't. But you learn from it, and that's, you know, being in Together We Launch for 4 months last time and 6 months now, I know that it will change everything. Same story for Alyssa. I'm not going to Hawaii, but I am going to Morocco very often, and that's you know, that's enough for me. And everyone has different goals, you know, so I love it that you can make your own goals, and Together We Launch will help you make them happen much faster than you would be able to on your own, I think.
Thank you, Claimy. Sonia, tell us how is your life different now after Together We Launch?
Well, it's the transformation. The transformation. I love to see the transformation on my clients. I love that the more I make, the more I help, because more people are like so happy because now they are doing their videos and selling and rank advancing in their businesses, but also the transformation in my family, okay, as well. Because right now, we live in a very small department. You know, I don't know if I can show you it. This is the room of my boy. We have a mattress, we have a bed. This is so small, and we just bought a house, and it is three rooms, one big room for us and one big room for my 2 kids, and we have this beautiful view to the pool. We have a pool, not such a big pool, but a nice pool and a nice garden. We have also this amazing roof garden, which I love, and that I know I'm going to be doing a lot of videos and exercising, because I know I have to lose weight as well. And to have this place so my kids can run, because right now they are in the other room in silence because I'm here. Mom is working, and they are like, shh, because my mom is working. If they shout, then you will hear the noise, and yeah, that's what I love the most. And when you have the courage to take decisions that can change not only your life but your family life. So yeah, my life has been transformed since I am able to do these launches. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, girls.
Guys, thank you so much. I'm sure that everyone who is either here live or watching the replay really just wants to tell you thank you for taking the time to spend with all of us to answer all of these questions. And I just want to say that, and I speak on behalf of me and the whole team because I already know, it just touches us so much to be able to reflect back over the last round of Together We Launched Together and see how you were able to take it and run with it and make it your own and find success on your own terms. We're so proud of you, and it just warms our hearts so much to be able to see how much your lives have changed, and to know that we had any small part in that is just amazing. So thank you guys so much. For everyone who joined live, thank you for being here. Thank you for being such a great audience. We love all of you. I'm so excited for this next round of Together We Launch. If you're watching this replay, please go and either request your application, submit your application, and then be patient because it's taking me some time to get through all of the applications. But so far we have sent out 8 invites and 7 people have joined. So we're on track. We're doing really well. I'm so excited to go into this next round of Together We Launch. I know it's going to be magic. It's just such an experience to like look at where you guys are now and like read through I was reading through your applications right before this, and it's just mind blowing to see where you were then and to see where you are now. And so to now be going through another applications, it's such an honor. So I love all of you guys. Clayme said, is there a maximum number of people? No, there's no maximum. We're letting in, I mean, if 1 million people wanted to join, we'd have a problem, but it's going to be a select group of people. Alyssa said boomerang. Yes, let's do a boomerang. So if you want to be part of our boomerang, please put your camera on. I'm going to go ahead and open up Instagram, select boomerang. Thank you for reminding me, Alyssa. And they thought I was the Instagram stories queen. Okay, guys. Oh, it's so nice to see all your faces. On the count of 3, 2, 1. And then I'm gonna do one more of just the panelists. I'm just saving this one. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go again. Yay. Guys, thank you so much. I love you guys, and this was so special. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And guys, submit your applications, and I can't wait to get started. We're starting on Monday. It's right around the corner. I can't wait. Okay, guys, bye.